be during the meeting itself. And whatsoever become the outcome of that negotiation will certainly be acceptable because Labour will be party to the negotiation. But I know very well that until that agreement is signed, Labour will be very critical in their argument for improved wage, because we didn't just put that proposal because you must propose 56. As a matter of fact, if that proposal was done now, we won't be talking about 56, because government will tell you there is no money, there is restriction. You should also know that a worker deserves to be paid. Not just paid, you must be paid a living wage, a wage that will take you home, a wage that will consider you a working class worker. A worker that is working should be differentiated from the unemployed. And whereby you are paid 18,000, bring it to 30,000 even. Because some people will tell you that how many people are in that category of 18. Then give average of 30. What will 1,000 naira do to a family? Or are we saying that people who earn that salary shouldn't marry? So where are we taking, which category of people are we referring to? As far as we're concerned, we have more than 1,000 reasons to ensure that wages improve to significantly. At least workers will now know that the delay was not in vain. Because as a matter of fact, wage is the reward for work done. It's not at the discretion of the employer. Wage is like, if you can't pay me for my work, then a state or the country itself has failed. If you can't pay the composition that produces for the success of the administration, then what are you working for? Governor that cannot even pay salary, it means that that governor has no program for the state. Because you need the workers to achieve your program, even as you promised during your campaign. You can't work alone. And those workers must be paid. Using any strategy or a pattern is just running away from their responsibility. I still consider it's not their duty to do so.
Well, Labour is expanding the conversation now. You're expanding the conversation to demand for good governance. This is not just about wages.
Yes.
It would seem that from the campaign, from the sensitization campaign you had, was it on Friday, you're bringing on a lot more on board. But what is Labour going to be giving back? Because some people will say, at the end of the day, this also falls back to the workforce.
Yes, the truth of the matter is that ordinarily, in a decent society, it is not the duty of Labour to drive governance for the people. They were elected democratically to do their job. Unfortunately, this is a country that you must be on the street to now ask leaders to behave in the right direction. So Labour is doing this sacrificially to ensuring that, okay, we are the receiving end. Because whether you are in the formal sector or you are the formal sector, we are all workers of this country. And whatever that happens in the economy, it affects the working people. Without the money in our hand, even the market cannot be activated. So we are doing all this kind of demand. We are not generating more issues, but we are trying to put it straight that you must not run away from your responsibility. Government must be able to provide good governance, and Labour will not be held accountable for their failure. So we are giving them opportunities to realize their right and wrong. Because you find out that people will refer to Labour and say, what has NSC done to this very matter? What would NSC do to people who just use a certain statement to keep Nigeria busy, and then the NSC will continually struggle to ensure that workers are defended? Nigeria, because if you watch the Nigeria Labour Congress struggle, it goes beyond the working class. We represent the ordinary people. The voiceless must be represented, and they must be defended in that direction. So what we are doing is to defend the ordinary Nigerians. Because at a point, the workers are also good to go. If you are paid salary.
I asked that question when I was referring to productivity of Labour. Because some people are also, pointing fingers at, how workers are carrying out their responsibility. Some people, will tell you that if you go to any place where civil service is involved, it's a nightmare to do business in some of those areas. Is Labour also taking this on board in terms of how it's talking to its workers?
Yes, we do training. And in fact, most industrial unions like mine, we organize annual industrial training. We do this training so that our workers are not to be blamed. We do this training so that, because we believe that, first and foremost, an employer should provide work for employee. It is the duty of the employer to do so. So ours is to carry out the duty. So wherever you see anything falling apart, just know that employers could be responsible, because they have the right to discipline employee. who has done one thing wrong or the other. They also have the right to include dismissal if you have committed offense. So they cannot revert to us as being responsible for any failure or reduction in production, because we know very well that in fact, employers are also encouraged to employ the scheme of training. Training is part of efficiency in job relation. So they cannot also run away from it, but we believe that we on our side will discharge our responsibilities in doing our job daily, and then on the part of the employer, they must, as a matter of their own obligation, ensure that they provide job for the employee in a decent workplace to enable them carry out their job progressively. And this has been on, and I don't think we have had cases. Employer will not even tell you that you're not productive. They will just remove you. So it shouldn't be, it can never be a reason for failure, because they will always take advantage of it to say, well, you're no longer a productive.
Some people might say that that is not the situation. That is, it's very, if there's anybody who knows anything about civil service, I'll tell you that's one of the most secure jobs to have in the country, because you cannot easily be fired.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the problems that employers seem to be facing, especially in government circles. When you point at corruption, you also look at corruption at that level as well.
Yes, I look at corruption to all levels of operation in the workplace. Anybody can be involved, and that is why we continue to support government in that fight. But all we are saying is that it should not jeopardize the entire economy. So, but considering the public sector, workers that are doing their job are doing so because they are employed to do their job. I still believe that employers have the upper responsibility to what is to be done in the workplace, whether in the civil service or otherwise. You must provide job, and the decency starts from the top. When the head is doctrine in this kind of, because we lack discipline in the workplace. When people come to work in the afternoon, and it's assumed that the boss will not be in the office, Thursday, Friday. So they have this assumption that I can be there, employers, government, you don't see them. So when they learn from their boss can no longer discipline them, because you must be in the office to discipline who's not working.
So as we wrap up now, just quickly, what is going to be your message to workers?
Yes, I want to inform Nigerian workers that they should keep their hope alive. Nigerian Labour Congress will continue the struggle, not just struggle, but fighting to defend their rights, and ensuring that even the minimum wage issue is attended to. Immediately after this May Day is put to rest, we are going to go back to the drawing board and ensure that we establish a more and effective means in tackling it, including going on street if the need arises. And like they know, we are equal to the task.
Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily. Comrade Amaechi Asugbone is the Vice President of the Nigeria Labour Congress. Sunrise Daily will take a moment and I'll be back shortly. Do stay with us.